Everybody, welcome back to Row Country. Today we're making a trash to treasure that begins with this vanilla latte empty bottle. It's a 40-ounce Starbucks. You saw the thumbnail, so you know where we're going with this. We're also using a 1.5 pound bag of these pinto beans, a sock, a man's sock, and a baby blanket in that buffalo check, this fleece lined hat from the Dollar Tree, also these Bootie ornaments from Walmart, this faux fur in white from Michael's. Use a 40% off coupon, it's a great deal. We're going to use those DIY stickers and those snowflakes. Also some of these bells, and then this set of ornaments from Walmart, we're using the snowflakes from that as well. Also some twine. We're going to need some Waverly crimson and silver lining paint, a Dauber brush, Mod Podge scissors, utility knife, and some glitter. So jumping right in, we're going to take those snowflakes and we're going to turn them crimson using that Waverly chalk paint and that Dauber brush, and we'll set those aside to dry. Then we'll take this Starbucks bottle and our utility knife and we'll just use it to start taking off the cover. You don't have to do that, that's optional, but I felt like I wanted to do that. Then we'll open up these pinto beans, we'll open up that empty container, and we'll drop everything down in. Now this does not fill it up all the way. If you want your container to be 100% full, you'll need more beans, but I'm okay with this totally. So we'll close that up and we will set that aside as well. Now, before we set it aside, we want to work on the bottom. There's an indentation. You could use something else like cardboard or something of that nature, but I filled mine in with hot glue. I was totally fine with that. I wanted that to be nice and flat across the bottom, and I set that aside to cure. While that was curing, I was taking the Mod Podge and I was coming in with my glitter. Now, if you don't want these to be red on yours, you could do a stain on those and that would turn out great. But I took Mod Podge and I started out with this cherry red fine glitter and I covered it, but I wasn't really careful about exactly where I was covering it because I want to come back with the white to have a frosted look on these. So I'm covering everything now with the white to try to catch where all the red didn't catch, and then of course we will shake those off in that container, set those aside, and we will come back to those later. Now my hot glue is nice and cured, and I'm just going to take the sock and I'm going to cover this entire container. Now once it's covered, I'm going to use some hot glue and I'm just going to go ahead and glue the edges down on the top. So once that's done, my body is going to be in this beautiful buffalo check, and I'm using that baby blanket from the Dollar Tree. And all I'm doing, I'm an eyeball crafter, so I'm just sort of rolling it out. And what's great about this pattern is it gives you a straight line to cut. And I just cut it so that it would definitely overlap. I don't care so much about the seam at all because that will be covered by the gnome's beard. So we'll cover it and then we'll make sure that the bottom is trimmed off and glued down as well. I decided to use a bead for the gnome's nose, and I paint it in Waverly's silver lining, and we will set that aside to dry so that we can continue to work on the gnome. And I'm sorry I didn't put that in the description, but it'll be in the description box below. Now I'm using this fleece lined hat from the Dollar Tree. Super cute. I really like how it goes with the buffalo check, and I love the snowflakes on it. I just turned it inside out and it does have a seam, and I decided to follow that seam and cut up and around the other stitched part. So I'm keeping the stitching intact, but I'm cutting around it and then separating the hat two pieces that I've been able to cut apart. And I'm using the one where I kept the seam intact. And I'm just going to come back with some hot glue, and I'm going to go ahead and glue down those edges and then trim away any excess. We don't want anything hanging over. At this point, we're ready to go ahead and start giving this hat some definition. So what I want to do is sort of roll those pieces over and hot glue them so that they make a point at the very top of this gnome's hat. So we'll just go ahead and add some hot glue, and then we'll go ahead and attach the other side, and that will create for us the tip of this gnome's hat, but we'll leave the bottom open. We don't want to come too far down with the seam just yet. We need it to stay open so that we can sort of position it onto the gnome body itself and then figure out where it's going to go over the nose. Now we also need some of these stones, and I'm sorry again, I forgot to mention that earlier. And what I'm doing is I'm dropping some hot glue down, and then I'm putting in some stones, and then I'm dropping some more hot glue down, and I'm building up a base within these little ornament boots. And the reason being is because we don't want this gnome to fall over. And so this is really going to give these boots some weight and some stability for the rest of the gnome body to sit upon. So just take your time with this. If you don't want to use a lot of hot glue, you could, put some more beans down in there, maybe instead of the rocks. But whatever you do, you want to make sure that you fill the top at least with a little bit of hot glue and try to make that flat on both sides so that they sit flat against the bottom of that gnome. Now we're coming in with this faux fur, and I don't know about you, but when I first started using faux fur, I was very intimidated. The fur is on the front and it is on the attached to this backing, which is a fabric, and you don't use scissors to cut this because if you do, you'll mess up the actual fur. So the recommendation is always to use a straight edge or a utility knife on the lowest setting, and you just sort of score this material until it separates from the other side that you're cutting, and you'll see here it opens up, and when that does, you don't need to cut any further down. Now remove any excess that's hanging on, and that will give you the piece that you need. Now I'm using this extra long piece because my gnome is going to be tall, but you could use a smaller beard even on this if you wanted a shorter beard. I wanted to go ahead and use up that remaining side of that fur that I had on that piece in that rectangular shape, and so that's what I did. And then here I'm just sort of fitting on the hat to see how that's going to work. Now what I want to do is I want to glue the fabric, not the fur. So I'm just sort of rolling it back onto itself, and then I'll use some hot glue and we'll attach that to the base there of the gnome's body, and then we'll turn it around and do the top and then also the sides. And so now we'll start working on the gnome's hat itself. And what's kind of unique for this one is that I didn't glue it all the way around. This time I only glued it in the back. And so what I decided to do was start with the piece that's to the left of me, and I went ahead and I glued it down along that buffalo check line. And then I'm going to take a bead of hot glue and I'm going to come up in a straight line. So I'm not trying to really stretch this around to meet the other side. I'm just going to go ahead and glue it here, and then I'll continue to work on that side, and I'm just going to put some hot glue right there and turn it down over itself to kind of give it a nice finished edge which will look really well when we pinch it together with this side coming up. Now on this side, I came across and I went ahead and rolled down a little bit of a hem just so it would look finished off. And then I did the same thing, kind of followed the same procedure, came across the buffalo check, and then I'm going up in a straight line to match the other piece, and we'll go ahead and kind of glue those together. Now once we have that done, we'll add a little bit more hot glue and we'll pinch close that opening that we currently have, and that will actually finish off the hat in the back, but it will also give us the ability to have some stretch for this hat in the front, which we will need when it's time to put down the nose. And so now we're coming back to the glittered snowflakes, and I went back and forth. Did I want to use the red twine or this natural twine? And I chose the natural because, of course, I'm country farmhouse with a little bit of glam, and I really had that twine yelling at me like, you have to use me. So that's what I did. I went with the natural. And I'm going to be pulling in 3 of these red bells as well. And what I decided to do was wrap the hat just loosely about 4 times around with this natural twine. I think that just makes it, with the buffalo check and these winter tones and this twine, it's just, now it really is a country farmhouse winter gnome for me. So I'll bring it around 4 times, and then up at the very top there, I'm going to just put a dab of hot glue so that it sort of meets at the top, and then it'll come around. I did lose some footage, but what I ended up doing was I didn't use the large snowflake, but I did use the other 2 from Walmart and 3 of those bells, and I just really put those on the twine. And then I came back and put in the nose, which really makes this gnome. That's again in silver lining from Waverly, and I'm just pulling the little cap down over the nose, and he absolutely looks adorable. I love how this flips out on that beard, and we'll just put an embellishment there of one of the other snowflakes, that one from Walmart. A really good view of how that frosted look with that glitter is on that red. I just love how that turned out. We'll put another one of those here at the top. Now coming up is my terrible recording. I'm sorry, I have shaky hands, guys, but I wanted you to have a really good close-up of this gnome. Here is the frosted look with the glitter, and then the twine coming all the way up to the very tippy top of his hat, and again some more frosted red glitter, that twine coming down, and upon it we have some of these. These are the snowflakes from Walmart that we glittered, and those bells intermixed, and they turned out absolutely adorable. I just love this. Oh my gosh, he's so cute. So these winter tones, guys, this is a sneak peek of something that will be on my coffee bar. Make sure you're tuned in for that. That video will be up right after Thanksgiving. Of course, I'm hosting this year, so it'll be up right after that, and I'm looking forward to recording that for you all so much. I just wanted to take a moment to say hi to my returning subscribers. Thank you so much for clicking on my video today and supporting me as you do all the time, and I so appreciate you. If you are new here, please consider subscribing and becoming part of the Row Country family here on YouTube. I would really appreciate it. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up on this video, everybody, and go ahead and put down in the comments if you'd like to see more of this type of content from me in the future. Thanks again, everybody, so much. I hope you have a great day. Go ahead and watch another video. And until next time, bye.